Hi Dalton, I'm just looking at your model here, and I'm just going to basically critique it real quick so you get an idea of, things that you could do. So first off, the actual structure, it looks pretty good, especially in smooth mode. But here's the thing. No matter what you want to have happen is that when it's not in this subdivided Catmull-Clark thing, that it looks good here, okay? Because especially since you're game design, you're going to be employing this into a real-time environment. They're not going to be subdivided. It's not going to be a subdivided model. You're gonna legit have this. So it should look good here before it looks good in this mode. Okay, and especially when you go to model, make sure you don't model well in this mode. You should be modeling in this mode. It's fine to check it every now and then with this, but for the most part, you should look at it this way. All right. So generally speaking, you did some good things here. If you look at it, the way that you had the arms kind of come down like this. That's pretty good because you didn't have the arms just jut out. The other thing I might suggest is in the future when you go to do this is basically there's two ways of making a model. One is T-pose and the other one is A-pose. If you look at your model, he's kind of in this weird statuesque, with his arms down, which is okay. For one, it makes it harder to model that way, but you probably should have done A-pose, which basically means that you want to do something like this where that's on. Hang on a second. Tool settings and soft selection. Do it by surface. Okay. Where you more or less you have his arms at like this position. It's kind of basically like the halfway between arms up and arms down. Maybe that's a little less than that, but I would have maybe not gone maybe more like this, but not quite so tight. Okay, because when you go into rigging too, it's going to be harder to get in here to weight the vertices and to paint them correctly. And it's also going to cause them to, but the default weights, these will, because they're such close vicinity to each other, they're going to interact with each other in not a good way. Okay, so you can change that if you want. You don't have to, but you might want to just move the arms out a little more A position. Thing here too, if you look at your knees or whatever, are these actually, let me double check something. Yeah, I'll put a little bit of more separation between those, okay? That's fine. Okay. Let's go back in object mode. All right. So I'm just going to kind of start from the top and work my way down. And I didn't see any errors. 3 mode is a good thing to look for errors. So you look pretty good there. And the geometry is not too bad either. There's a couple of weird areas like this where you have a pole. That's a lot of vertices to go into one spot. So let's start from the top and work our way down. All right, so it's a little dense up here. You might be able to get rid of some of that. A lot of people have different ways of going about doing that, but I'll leave that alone for right now. The ear should be attached, but that doesn't matter. One thing you can do here, this will probably work, but you could do something along the lines where you basically divert the edge loops across. So using like the multi-cut tool here, I think that's what it's called now. What is it called now? I think that's what it's called. They changed the names a lot. So what I would do is instead of having this come down and pinch here, you go like this. You click here, click in the middle, then you click here, and then here, 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 and which one am I going to? Oh, see, look at your model's not symmetrical either. Oh no, it is. Never mind. I just need to go a little bit farther. It looked asymmetrical to me. Here, then you go here and up like that. Okay. Then what you do is, let's get rid of soft select here. Take this one and this one, Control Delete, delete the edge and vertices, and then we just do the multi-cut here to here. Ah, crap. I think it's Control Y. There we go. From here to here. Boop. And from here to here. Boop. And you'll see I got rid of that instead of it coming straight down. And what I did is that it's still quads, if you look. Right? These are all quads. But I diverted it and have it run back and up into itself again. So now this edge loop basically flows up and around. And you can do that in a bunch of spots. And if you're going to do something, tries are better than n-gons. I'm not denying that fact. But even some of this, like right here, oops, you could just take this and delete it. That's now a quad. You know what I mean? You can do that over here too. Now that's a quad. Why is that different than this one? I don't know. Something's weird. I don't know if I did something. But You know, and even here and here. Well, see, that's not the same. Get rid of that one, and now that's a quad. But there's little things you can do like that. Don't do it in the center. Like this one, you can't do it because now you don't have a center line. So leave that alone. Another thing is, too, if you are going to have tries, try not to have them happen where there's going to be deformation, meaning that there's going to be bending or flexing or rotating. When you have them in here, that pole is really obvious. What you want to do instead, so for instance, let's say I didn't want to have so much geometry up here because it's not really supporting much. You just go ahead and you, where it's hard, so like the top of the head doesn't flex in any way, you just go ahead and make these tries. So I would just do this kind of a thing. You know, have these pinch in. You know, maybe have that one. Do like every other one or something, right? Like that. And then, you know, you would get rid of these extra ones that you don't need anymore. Control delete. You know what I mean? Have them end like this. But after, because you'd have hair up here anyway, no one would ever see these tries, okay? Obviously, you'd want to do the same thing on this side, because I think I probably just deleted stuff we needed. But, well, maybe I didn't, actually. Well, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. But you could do things like that. Or, again, you could do that diverting thing like I showed you before. But up here, I probably just do the tries, okay? Alright, so yeah, I'm just going to look for errors and tell you how to fix those first, and then I'll go through and tell you other things. It's a little bit clunky in here. You do have n-gons and stuff, but this could probably be a little bit cleaner, where you could have like edge loops come across, and I don't know. Just feel like you could get rid of that, and then, you know, take these and move them up, and you see, like that didn't. So this is an n-gon now, right? But see, like this is here, so what I could do is take this multi-cut tool, there to there, enter. Q and delete, and look at now it's all n-gons, and see how it's a little bit cleaner. Got to try here, but you had that before. But see how this is nice now. So that would be a little bit hopeful. But wherever you see like just kind of weird pinching and stuff, see if you can go about in some way to like relieve it. So like right here, this pole, either divert them or I don't know, something. Okay. Another thing you can do too is if I'm looking at some of this, again it's a little bit clunky in there. See how it's. You want the surface to be like more congruent, where it's rolling across the surface better. Right now it's kind of chunky, right? It's like, right? It's like a mountainous cavern. We don't really want that. One thing you can do is this. This probably isn't going to work right off the bat. I'm just going to show you real quick. So I go sculpting, and there's this one, relax or smooth. I'll try relax. It's probably going to tell me, see how it says, blah, 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 cannot be folded on non-manifold geometry. That means you have geometrical errors, okay? So to fix that real quickly, just go to Mesh, Cleanup, and you clean up matching polygons. So, or you can have it Select. We're going to have it go ahead and clean up, which means that if you do Select, it'll highlight the bad geometry. This will actually make it happen. So if you don't get good results and you want to do it manually, just do Select. Okay. So Fix by tessellation, 4-sided faces. That's fine, we want that. Faces with more than 4 sides, so n-gons. So tessellation means it's going to triangulate it. It's going to make them into triangles. So if I have an n-gon, it'll make it a triangle. Probably make it 3 triangles, but it might make a triangle in quads. Concave faces, I don't know. Faces with holes, sure, and non-planar faces. No, we can leave that one alone. So those 2 will do. Lamina faces means faces where they're basically on top of each other, like laminated stuff. Non-manifold, that's a big one. All right, so that just means that if you were to UV this, it wouldn't be able to unfold into a flat space. Some of the geometry is attached in weird ways. It's kind of like lamina faces, except it's not all edges. It's just more edges than there should be. And you could do zeros. I don't usually need that. And I'm going to clean up, and that should fix. Oops, that should fix that issue. Now you might look around and find something's really like weird looking now, because you might not have realized. I don't see anything too bad. I don't know where the problem was, but anyway, that will try to fix that. So now I'm going to go back to sculpting again. I'm going to hit this one, and now this will work. So what you can do is in this area here, I'm going to hold B, that's the brush size. Whoop. Okay, there we go. And then M is strength. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Now if it's way off, what you could do is just go to the tool settings here, and you should be able to, here you go, strength. Yeah, I was doing a lot, I wasn't doing that much. So let's do like 40%. And I also want to do this actually real quick. We want to do symmetry on object X. But you can maybe try to smooth some of it out like that. You just kind of brush it, and you'll notice that what it's going to do it's basically going to spread out. So see how like this is really close? Watch what happens. It'll spread it out so it's more even. See how that's a bit smoother? Now you got to be careful because if you do it in here, you're going to lose detail, right? But in some areas, like here, I can kind of do this, and it'll just spread it out a little bit so that it's a little bit more even. Okay, so you might want to try doing a little bit of that in some areas, mostly in the face. You can try doing that just to kind of smooth it out, all right? I'm just trying to make the model a little bit better in general before we get into it. All right, so look for that, look for that. It's kind of weird. Why do you have... let's frame that. All right, A and Q, and I seem to have lost the camera. I don't know what happened there. If this ever happens to you, which is kind of lame, because I'm hitting A and it's not framing all, you could just, which stinks, just do a new perspective and just use that, and then you could delete the old one. All right. So fix that, you know, try to make the geometry a little bit more even. So we see like really big areas versus really small areas. You want to try and even those out as much as possible. All right. The main thing is to fix that non-manifold geometry. And so that was easy. Just mesh cleanup, do that. All right. Let's actually get to what the model needs. So we need deformation. What that means is basically there needs to be enough geometry to flex and bend. So to give you an example, let's say we want to bend his arm here, right? Come on. Why are you not? All right. It seems to be stuck on there it goes. That was weird. Okay. So let's say I want to shift and the right bracket, or sorry, greater than symbol will expand your selection. I don't know if you already know that. Okay, so let's say, actually we'll go back. Let's say I want to bend your guy's elbow right here, right? Make sure we get this whole thing here. Let's say I want to bend his elbow. One of the problems that'll happen is if I move the pivot up where his elbow would be, okay, that you're going to notice is when you go to bend it, see how like it's pinching in? And I could try to do something whereby, you know, we do less than half, and I'll just do like a soft select, so it's a little bit, and then D, go back up here, and then rotate it. But you're going to see there's not enough geometry to support it flexing. So what you need to do is wherever there's a joint, you know, elbows, arms, elbows, shoulders, digits, you need to add more edge loops in there in order to support it so that it has something to fan across. So what that means is literally just go like this, use the multi-cut tool. If you hold the control, it turns into this instead of just the regular. And basically, you want to have at least 3 edge loops, something like that, okay? And then you can reform this so that, let's say we, you know, give yourself an actual little elbow, you know what I mean? And then you could take this and kind of go in to give it a stronger crease kind of a thing. But what that will allow us to do is basically, we could do that, and then B, go back a little bit, okay, and then D, up and over. Now when I go to rotate it, it has, see what I'm saying, it has this whole thing here to bend on, and it flexes more naturally. So basically you need to do that on the elbow, on the wrist, on each one of the fingers here. You can get away with 2 because these are smaller, so if you don't want to do 3 per joint, you need to do at least 2, okay? But 1 is not going to cover it. So like there, at the shoulder, the neck's going to need more in here, so you could maybe do 4, because the neck it's not a specific area of articulation like the elbow is, where it bends at a very discrete location. The knee will need it. Your ankle, you need more edge loops in here. Again, your phalanges of your feet here, your toes, those all need more, okay? Some other things is in here. This will flex over a long area, right? Because it's a spine, right? It has many points of articulation, so it'll bend overall like a large area. But if you look at what you only have like 1 edge loop. So basically the same idea, but instead of here, just try to evenly distribute the edge loops. So you have enough to kind of flow across so that each one of these can be part of that, that flexion. Yeah, so do that. I'm going to undo that real quick. So one other thing I want to show you with that is, also up here. So right here you have sphincters, okay? So you did this right where you have the the edge loops flowing around the mouth, but you don't have enough to support it. So same thing as before. In here, just add like, 1 or 2 or something like that. And then in here as well, add some in here, some of the eyelid is, that kind of thing. So you have enough to support facial expressions, and maybe even up here to help support the brow, that kind of thing. Now, there is a problem area down here. See your hips? If you were to look at like an actual crotch, God, I gotta find a way to, I'll look up pants because I don't want to see nudes. Let's do pants. All right, and let's do images. I just want to do this one will work, I guess. Okay. So if you look, though, see right here? This is how the legs insert. They don't insert straight, right? And they don't insert, like, vertically. They're kind of, where your underwear line is basically how your legs will flex, okay? And you can kind of see the line right here. If you look at your model, you have it kind of going down. You actually have it doing the opposite of what it would normally do. So you actually need to take these. Alright, so let's turn soft select off. You need to take these, and I'm going to unselect these here, maybe that one too. And you need to slide them up. Now, you can manually do it, do that, and then, oops, back to 1. And move it up if you want, that's fine. There's also another tool, which you may or may not have used much. If you go to Mesh Tools, Slide Edge, and what that'll do is that when you have it selected, you can middle mouse button, click and drag, and we'll slide across the surface. See, I'm not even on it. So I can use that to kind of slide up, and then I'll take this one off. Come on. Yeah, that's okay. And then I'll slide it up a little bit more, something like that. And then same thing here. Take this off, and that's fine. And then slide that up, and then you can put more, you're going to need more geometry in here, obviously, to support it. But you want this to be more like an underwear line. I could even go a little bit farther with this, in all honesty. Make it a little bit more of a V shape. For this crotch. Okay, so that's another thing you need to do. You did the ankle correctly, which is good. So, but just add some more edge loops there. Yeah, so that would basically be it. Just kind of smooth out where you can. Add the geometry for, fix any errors using that mesh cleanup and just manually trying to fix some of these edge loops. You can also use that sculpting tool to kind of clean up that. And add edge loops wherever it's going to articulate. So if it's a very specific point of articulation, like an elbow or a wrist where it's just over a small area, you want them kind of tight. If it's not, like a spine here, you want it over a larger area, right? Same thing with the neck, right? The neck bends over a large area. Not super large, but also on your eye area and things like that. Okay, so make those fixes. When you get those done, just email it to me and I'll just further tweak it or be like, it's good enough. Actually, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Just do that and then start working on the assignment. All right? I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, you can still rig this. It just will rig better if it doesn't have... The results will be better. All right. But we don't care about the model. But it, Anyway. Okay, so that would be it. I'm going to send this to you and then, carry on.